Good afternoon, Steve. Welcome back to the Friday at Four podcast series. How are you, buddy?
Right. Good afternoon, Charles. Again, let me apologize to the viewing audience for not being as dressed as I should be, but I just had surgery on my left shoulder. So this thing is the sling. So if you'll excuse me for showing my big gut, but okay.
Coming undone during the podcast series.
Hey, this is real. This is me. I'm sorry, but that's it. Okay.
That's what I love about this podcast series is that it's real, it's us, it's uncut. It's just, hey,
Yeah.
we're here to help. We're talking.
Right.
Here we are. So,
Yep. Yep.
what do you got for me today, man? Welcome back. Glad you're here.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm super excited to be back. You get into a routine, you like what you're doing. Hopefully, you like what you're doing, and you get into this routine, and it's really cool. And when you miss a week or two, it really does throw things off, and it just feels weird. Like I got to be there. I know I should be there, but I can't. So now your mind starts to race. How do I maneuver things where possible to get back on that routine? Now, in my case, because of what I had with the surgery, going around that routine is not, in my case, was not feasible because if I went around it, I would undo all the things they did in the surgery. And I'm not going through this again. Sorry, I like my surgeon, but not that much. Okay.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, that's a great way to segue into a topic today. Getting back on track. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what happens when we as solopreneurs or entrepreneurs, we end up, falling off our horse a little bit or sliding backwards because we lose that faith, we lose that push, that drive, as
Mhm.
I did last week myself. I'm guilty of it. I started to fall a little
Mhm.
bit, but you pick myself back up and got back on my horse and I'm driving.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that a little bit. What do you got?
So I can speak from my personal experience, and that's what I'm going to use because it's
Yeah.
real. So I spent 32 years in corporate, and I mentioned this before. And working for somebody, they pay you just enough to stay and you don't quit. But it's also just enough to pay your bills so you're not broke. In
Yeah.
theory, most people are having problems, but different discussion. And you show up at 9, you do your thing, and at 5 o'clock, the Fred Flintstone whistle, you clock out and you go home.
Hmm.
And that's cool. Then, like me and you graduate from corporate and you make that leap into I'm going to be an entrepreneur and open my own business. And it is a leap because you're putting your money on the line, your time on the line. You don't have that supposed safety of a paycheck. You don't have the benefits. You don't have all the things that companies in theory provide to you. So you make that leap and now you start. And there's a lot of things that go into what do I do?
Yeah.
Should have a passion for something, a real deep-seated passion for something, which I know you do, which I do. So once you have that passion, then you have to start looking at other things. Is the product or service that you're looking to offer, is there a market for it? Will they pay enough for a
Yeah.
profit for you? Will
Yeah.
what you're doing stand the test of economic upturns and downturns? So you have to look at all those things.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I run into so many people, I'm sure you do as well, who have a great idea. They give up what they're doing, they go
Mhm.
into it. 2 weeks later, this isn't what I thought it was, and they quit,
Right.
which is 99% of small business owners. They
Correct.
they they don't make it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, and I think I've said this a few times before, you can have a passion for something and everything could be going the right way. But what a lot of people do, and this is not easy, but in my mind, it's something that really should be done where all possible. You have this passion, you've researched how much money it's going to cost. Can you do it online or a retail storefront? You've gone through all those things if possible, start at small scale. So your time investment, your money investment is limited, which yes, does limit the growth potential early on, but you're weighing the short term. Can I do this? Do I really want to do this? Is it real or is it my imagination of what I want it to be? But is it real? So if you can do something part-time, do something on the weekends, do something at night, do something, and yeah, you're going to work hard. But when it does start to work,
Yeah.
the
And I think you
rewards,
also, yeah, and you also get that advice before. Remember, you talked about do it part-time, work for somebody in that industry to see if you like it, see if it's what
correct,
you want to do before you
correct.
take that big leap
Mhm.
and find out that,
Yep,
whoa, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. You
correct.
mentioned that. Yeah.
Yep. And I will always hold to do that.
Yeah.
Try something first. Work for somebody else part-time. In a worst case scenario, if you have to, volunteer for a day, a week, a month, a summer. Find out what it really takes in that industry.
Yeah.
And if you like it, then you make the investment in time, in money, in inventory, and whatever you need to do. Because it's not, again, it's not just your time, it's the money behind it, it's the
Yeah.
reputation. But if you also start small and it doesn't work, people can say, I failed.
Yeah.
But here's my definition: the word fail, first attempt in learning, FAIL. Never discount the experience that you get in trying something
Yeah.
because most people don't even try.
Yeah. That is so
So if
true.
you try, and yes, you may succeed, you may not, but that's okay. If your liability, sorry, if your liability in time and money, whatever else, is small, it's okay to fail because to come back for round two, round three, round four, round 100 is still within reason. If
Yeah.
you go all in like I did and it doesn't work, like mine didn't, okay, I mean, real again, but being real here,
You're a realist. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. You're putting it out there. Yeah.
I was in deep, deep financial trouble. I also started my thing when I was in my young 50s. Now, I'm not saying that's a good thing, bad thing, but one of the things that I didn't do, and this is part of what you had said we want to talk about today, there is so much out there, and you could be the smartest person in the world, and I hope you are, but there's only so many hours in a day, and you can only do so much, and you
Yeah.
only know so much based on your experience. But
Yeah.
when you get to things that are outside of your experience, now you got a problem. What
Yeah.
do I do? What decision do I make? What if I make the wrong decision? Then you get into that indecision mode. And the indecision mode says, I'm going to make a decision not to do anything. And when you do nothing, that problem, that thing you're trying to figure out, doesn't get solved. And it
Yeah.
only gets bigger and multiplies faster than rabbits. And then you have a problem.
Yeah.
So, so take the lessons and also one of the things that I learned the hard way, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really good people out there who want to help you and will not charge you,
Yeah.
and that's okay. There's
I'm one of
also
them. I'm one of them. I'd
That's
a lot of
okay.
help. Reach out. Even Steve, reach out to us. And if you're watching, reach out. We love to help,
Reach out.
Yeah.
Charles,
So let's
Charles, good.
let's fast forward 18 months, right? Think about this. We got our business running. We think we're doing
Mhm.
great. 18 months in, things start getting weird. I don't have the revenue I thought I would. I'm not getting the leads I thought I was. I feel like I'm not getting help that I need. I'm feeling down. I'm feeling like I'm questioning my decisions on what I've done. So what do we
Right.
have? What do we offer our listeners who are in this situation and say, look, man, we've been there. We are there. Talk
So,
to us.
yeah. So, what should happen in any business, and I did this halfway, which is why I had the problems. What should have this is again reality, right?
Reality
Um,
setting in, right?
what should happen is when you start the business, have the specific points, the metrics that you track every day, every week, every month. Sales, costs, profit, customers. If you do marketing or advertising, somehow figure out how to track where those customers are coming from.
Hmm,
So if 18 months down the road, and it should not be a today and 18 months with this void in the middle, it should be every month, every day, every week, every whatever it is for the 18 months. And if you
right.
see after month 3, month 6, month 9, that one of your sources for customers is starting to go down,
Yeah.
um, one of your revenue sources is going down, the earlier you identify that, the faster you can then start to ask why and start to look into it.
Yeah. And one thing I want to interject with is this, and I know there's several of these out there, but the one that I just talked to my daughter about this morning was I said to her, I said, you know how many times Colonel Sanders failed with his KFC recipe? 1,009 times.
Right.
And I looked at her and said, I am on 1,007. She's like, well, why are you keeping track? I said, because it's very important to say that if
Mhm.
you fail 1,009 times, I have 1,007 more chances that I'm not going to fail. Somebody's going to say
Sure.
yes to me. Now, my question and statement to you, Steve, is now that I have my first sponsor, obviously from Queensboro Apparel, I'm still wearing their shirt today.
Huh?
Thankful to these guys they sponsored me. I appreciate them. Another shout out to them. I have that one. Somebody said yes. So do I quit my count at 1,008?
No, no.
I keep going.
I saw an article today, right before this call. Oh, and I don't remember the specific details, but it said something about it gave you two options. Do you focus only on existing customers hoping to get referrals, or do you focus on new customers only? Which one? The question was, which one do you focus on? And
Yeah,
my response back was both, because you don't know who or where your business will come from or when. So if you focus only on existing and it dries up, the well dries up, you're in trouble. If you focus only on new, there's something called customer acquisition cost, which could be extremely expensive. So how much does it cost you to bring in a new customer?
yeah,
But if you do both, you've now significantly increased your chances to get more referrals. Repeat
yeah,
business, referrals from existing, and new. So you're really giving yourself like three different areas.
yeah.
Never discount. Always stay in touch with your existing clients.
Yeah. And
Send
that's
them.
important too, right? Referrals, that's a great way to keep
Mhm,
yourself running, right? You keep yourself in touch with
mhm,
your contacts who you did reach out to. Maybe
right,
that lead didn't go anywhere, but you still have that contact.
mhm,
Excuse me. So I think that it's important to keep in touch with
mhm.
everyone, like you said, because that can keep you fired up, keep you
Yeah,
fueled.
yeah.
So you never know who this
Mhm.
person who you talk to could possibly give you. Oh, wait a minute, here's someone that you could talk to. Reach out to so and so. And then before you know it, just one person you talk to can now put you in front of 15, 20 other people who can then in turn
Yep.
turn your business around to say now you're going to get ready into the right direction to be profitable. you know?
How many stories have I heard where people sell whatever they're selling, goods, services, whatever they're selling? They approached a potential client, and client, for whatever reason, could be timing was wrong, could be whatever, they didn't conduct any business. But what they did was every holiday, they sent a holiday card. If they knew birth dates, if they knew anniversary dates, whatever, they would send a $2, $3 card 2, 3, 4 times a year.
Mhm.
Just happy birthday, happy anniversary, happy holidays. And 2, 3, 4 years down the road, because they remembered you, timing was right, and they contacted you and did business. So it
Yeah,
doesn't take a lot. But if you stay in touch with people, it does sometimes work out well.
yeah,
So never discount the value of a no.
yeah, absolutely. There are on my leads spreadsheet that I have that I started creating, almost 2 years ago.
Mm,
I have some hard marked reds that
mm,
I clearly will not ever reach to these people again, just simply
okay.
for the fact that the way they responded, the way
Mm,
they, position themselves and say, I don't ever want to talk to you again. And I just want to make sure I threw that in there so people know there are some hard no's. There's a lot of soft no's, and you have to
sure.
get good
Sure.
at listening and learning
Mm,
when they're really saying no, when they're just saying, not right now.
yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It does take a lot to really listen,
Yeah.
but you also have to, well, I should say you, again, my opinion, somebody may say no, meaning not now, but also look at that customer. Because if either personal experience or through other people you know who may have worked with that customer, they may say, yeah, I got revenue, but the amount of rework, the amount of attention they demanded, that I ended up losing money because of all the extra I gave to them. So not every customer is a good customer, and not every piece of business is a good piece of business. It may not
Yeah.
be.
So true. So true. Yeah. And that's the thing, right? There's a lot of overlap in businesses that there's so many businesses doing the same thing out there that I'm sure this one potential clients heard from 17,000 different people with the
Right.
same
Right.
thing, and they get tired of hearing that same pitch. So if you can stand out, do something different, be on top of their mind when you approach them, it could be a win-win.
You are correct. There are 17,000 people doing what you do, what I do. There are. However, what makes you stand out or me stand out is the customer service.
Yeah.
Do you, number one, and most important, do you listen? Is your solution geared towards their problem or something you just want to sell? Because if it's not solving the problem, it could be the best solution in the world. But if it's not solving that problem, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's part of the problem too, right? Is we think we have all the answers for our potential clients. We go meet with them, we
Mm-hmm.
pitch what we have, they say no, and we get deflated. Well, I had all the answers for them, but they said no. What did I do wrong? I'm a failure now, right? So we get spiraling down that path of
Yep.
I'm just not good at what I do. But
Correct.
in turn, you just
Correct.
had the wrong target market or you didn't pitch it properly.
Correct.
Yeah.
I will go back to a story, and I may have said this sometime before. When I was working in IT, and I'm not going to give you the company names and all that stuff, but when I was in the IT world, I went with a company prepared PowerPoint, and I managed to get an hour slot with a very senior executive. And I walked in and I said, thank you for meeting me. And I then went through a 55-minute PowerPoint. And at the end, I said to him, okay, when can we get back together? And he goes, why would I? And I said, because I just told you all the things we can do. He goes, never, not once did you come up for air and give me the chance to tell you what my concerns and my needs were.
Yeah.
And I did not get a second meeting.
Yeah.
So, to your exact point, listen, ask them what keeps them up at night. Ask them, you know, what's going to cause the ship to list a little bit in the water. Um, what what's your time frames to fix this? What if you don't fix it in that time frame? All these things that if you hit those right buttons, you will get the answer because they're desperate and they need it and they need it fixed now. And if you
Yeah,
can meet that need, you will get the business before you walk out the door. You'll have a signed contract. I mean, yeah, because people want it, they need it. But listen,
right. And then, that goes back to the point of, the whole reason this conversation that I wanted to start with you with this is, when we start feeling that, you know, I'm failing at this. Should I really be doing this? It's like, I like to, how do I word it? So me personally, when I get like that and I feel that way, I reach out to someone. I text, I email, I call, because I want someone to hear from me so they can tell me, whoa, hold up, Chuck. No, no, no. What you got's good.
right?
Think about this or that, so they're
Yep.
giving you options of how to push through this little difficult moment that you're having because we all go through it. We all have difficult moments, when we think we're doing the wrong thing or
Yep.
I'm not going to make it, but
Yep.
here we are still going forward.
It is very difficult for most people, myself included, when you get into that, am I good enough? Should I do this? Why? It's very difficult to step back and look at it from the outside down and say, okay, what worked? What didn't work? What do I need to tweak? So, to your point, which is a very good point, ask somebody else who's not in the day to day, who's not clouded, judgment wise. What do I do? No, I can't because you're in it. If you step back, now you can see, oh, little tweak and you're back on track.
Yeah, so true.
And
So
sometimes
true.
that's all it takes is a little tweak, but you need that independent person to sit there and say, ah, I see. Now, yes, you also have to be open because again, you're in it, it's your business. I know everything. No, you don't.
No, you
Um,
don't.
but if you can take a step back, I have heard a statement many times, and it is not mine. I'm not claiming, that I did this or said this, but there's a statement out there that I've heard, and it's called "Ego is not your amigo."
Ooh,
So
nice.
your ego is not your friend.
Yeah,
Get off the high horse, step back a second, take some advice.
yeah.
You chances are will then go much further and use it as a learning experience.
And to your point to that, right? You can also be on the other end of that. How you like me? I'm a very humble guy. I'm not one of those guys with that ego who pushes forward. So I need to be a little more egotistic and push myself because I'm too laid back. I'm too,
Mhm.
well, let me just take care of this and that'll just work itself out. No, sometimes it doesn't. You got to really,
No.
you got to put the hammer down a little bit,
Yeah.
right?
That's where that independent person can nicely say, stop, just
Yeah,
stop. Okay.
yeah,
And listen to me. It's very hard to hear. I went through that.
yeah.
I was fortunate enough that when I had my business again for 2 years that did fail, it was going the wrong way from day one financially. And I hung on, I hung on. And somebody came to me and said, I will give you X dollars. Well, I'll lend you X dollars to help float you until you get to that point. And as much as I wanted to say yes, I said no because I did not go out and ask for help, or the help that I got didn't right the ship. And
And
I
at that point,
saw
you knew
myself
it was,
dropping.
yeah. And see at that point, you knew that that
Right,
ship was sailed,
right,
sinking. It's done. It's the Titanic. It ain't coming back.
right. So at some
Smart move.
point,
You didn't take that
yeah.
money,
So
right?
at some
Yeah.
point, you got to say, will the money really turn the ship around?
Yeah.
Or will it delay the inevitable and
Right.
now you owe somebody all that money?
Right.
And that's the
Smart move.
part that I didn't want to happen
Yeah.
because based on where it was going and I was flat broke, I didn't know if I would ever be able to pay that money back. And I didn't want to hurt somebody else for
Yeah.
my failure.
Right. Yeah. I got very lucky my first time around with the mystery shopping company.
Mhm.
I I was fortunate enough that somebody floated me credit
Hmm.
for this. And at the end of those 4.5 years,
Hmm.
it worked out in my favor and
Nice.
everything was paid. I was good. And I was at
Nice.
that point making money and I could have been happier. That really
Yeah,
made me feel good to know that I did it, you
that
know?
is a big deal. It is.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
So
nice.
kudos to you though for recognizing, but again, back then, did you have the support that you needed? Or were you still like me, solo, running, trying to figure it out before
The,
it
the
got to that point?
Well, the company that I owned was I bought into a franchise.
Yeah.
And I
Tough.
realized after I already signed all the papers, because I trusted the wrong people, so I signed the papers as they were.
Yeah.
Um, I realized it was wrong, but now I was locked into a contract. And everything I went back to the franchise for help, no, nope, nope, nope. And they came into my location. They were not in the same state. So they came in from headquarters, and two of them, they came into the office and they said, okay, we see from your numbers you're not doing this. Well, we think you should try these 5 things. And I said, hold it. And I pulled out of my desk a file. Okay, here's documentation. All 5 things were done per corporate policy. By the time they got done, this was a 2 day audit. Halfway through day one, they got up and they left because every single thing they told me to do, I was doing. It didn't work. They had no more answers. So if corporate can't help me, and again, in my case, it was a franchise, and corporate can't help you, and I didn't have the experience on my own, that's when I saw the writing on the wall.
Unfortunate too. And that's a shame because you would think that, you know, being in that situation, you would get the help you needed because since it is a franchise, you would have the backing of something that has been proven to work, that
Right.
you didn't get the help you needed.
Yeah, I mean, things were going on, which I'm not getting into, but things were going
Yeah.
on. No, I don't want to cause any issues. That's why I'm not
Cause
giving
any issues,
names.
right?
But things were going on, which I found out after the fact, and I did leave, and they let me out of my contract
Yeah,
without
good.
coming after me and stuff. So we kind of
Yeah.
sort of worked it out, sort of, but I ended up flat broke, flat
Yeah.
broke.
That's unfortunate. And that is what we don't want to happen to people out there. That's why I say
Sure.
reach out, Chuck at
Reach out.
QACteam.com. Steve?
Steve at stevekentfs.com. We're here to help you. As
Yeah.
you can see, we're very laid back. We're giving you real life what we went through. Um, we want to help you. We want you to succeed. That's how we not only we learn by helping you, but we get satisfaction of helping you to be successful.
Yeah. And I want to say, in closing words here, man, I say that I'm winning every day by just getting up, showing up, doing the work,
Right.
and I'm accomplishing one thing a day.
Mhm.
I write a goal down, I have a goal. This is what I
Right.
want to do. And then I journal about it so I can look back at it to say, look at what I've done. And I think this can help people when you're when you have an idea and you're pushing something and you feel like you're not successful, you're not making it, look back at what you've
Yep.
done. Look at your goals, look at
Yep.
what you set, look at what you've done, and
Mhm.
just keep going, and if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
You love what you do. I'm, I obviously you can tell by my background, I'm in the financial space. I wake up every morning and the first thing I say is, well, first of all, why is the alarm clock go off? That's the first thing I say. But after I get by that,
Smash, smash,
smash,
smash.
smash. But the next thing I say is, how many families am I going to help today?
Yeah,
That's the passion.
I
That's what
love
you
it.
need. That sets your day.
Yeah,
That sets the tone. People say, I hate Mondays because I'm coming off a weekend. I don't want to go back to the office.
yeah,
Well, that's why I'm not in the office anymore. I have my own
yeah,
business. And
yeah. And
I love Mondays. I
yeah,
love
and how many times do I hear through the day, oh, it's almost Friday. I got my weekend. And I said, I don't live for a weekend. I work every day because I do.
the working to look forward to the weekend. And there's a song out there, was it working for the weekend? I think.
Everybody's working for
There
the
you go. Thank you.
weekend.
Okay, you're better than I
Yeah,
am. But that's a corporate mentality.
it is. Yeah,
It is. And, and
yeah,
and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I was there for 32 years. That's the
yeah.
corporate mentality.
I did it for 16. Yep. And I'm going to say, I loved a lot of it, but
Mhm.
as I realized the corporate world wasn't for me near the end, that's what made me realize, yeah, I got to go
Mhm.
because I'm better off doing on my own because I am my own person. I love running myself.
Yep. So the question you have to ask yourself, whose dream are you building? Your boss or yours?
Love it.
Ask yourself that question. If
Yeah,
you're working crazy hours, just making enough money to get by, not crazy about what you're doing, but you want the paycheck, you're working for somebody else.
yeah,
You're always going to be broke. You're going to retire broke. You're not going to take the new house, the new car, the vacation. You're not going to have any of that stuff
yeah.
because they're
That's the
paying you
truth.
again just enough to get by. That's not what we're on this earth for. We're on this earth to
Yeah.
enjoy yourself, your family, your friends, your neighbors, your whoever.
And I want to say this earlier when you got into it in the beginning, they call it job for reasons, just over broke. And that's what they call it.
Absolutely.
You know, we're all
Yep.
there. We all been there.
Yep.
Times right now, we're tough for everyone. But look, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Don't let the economy, don't let things get in the way of
Mhm.
stopping you from pursuing a dream that
Right.
if you've done your research and something that can be done, why not go for it?
Right.
But be smart about it. Let's not
Mhm.
end up like Steve where you lose everything, but let's get some help so Steve can help you
Yeah.
not fall like that. So where you're not losing everything, and it's a shame that happened to you. I'm sorry, but you're on the up and up. You're on the other side, man, and we're gonna make it.
Yeah, we will. Absolutely
Yeah.
will. So we're
Yeah.
here for you. I think we're almost at the end. I know we have a limited time frame.
Yeah, we're getting there, man. We're getting done. I love it.
Good stuff.
Yes, sir. Always good having you on, Steve. I love the conversations. This is
Yeah, Jeff, it's
why
great.
I
I
do what
love
I
being
do.
here.
And if one person watches this and reaches out to either one of us to say, hey, I got an idea, can you guys help me out with this? I would love to help. You know,
Yeah,
I just had,
absolutely.
yeah, one of my, a girl I went to school with, she moved her location, it's reopening, and she just sent
Mhm.
an email out, well, a Facebook post talking about small businesses. And I reached out and said, yeah, would love to help. You know,
Yeah,
of course, she's scared to do podcasting, but I said, look, it's fun. Get out of that fear. And I'm trying to get her to come on and do a podcast so I can help her business. And she knows it can help. So that's part of what I love what I'm doing, man. She reached back out, and she wants me to help her. So that's why we're here.
you got to take that step. You got to get out of the comfort zone.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Steve. Well,
Good
it's been a
stuff.
pleasure speaking with you. Now, what's the one thing you didn't say in the opening of this podcast? You got to say it while we're done.
It's Friday at 4. It's 4 o'clock somewhere.
It's 4 o'clock somewhere.
There
You
you
got it.
go. One of these
Awesome.
days I'll get it right. Okay.
Absolutely. Steve, again, thanks for coming on, man. It's been a great Friday at 4, man. I love doing this. Keep it going, man. Love talking
Yep,
to you. It's great.
absolutely. You as well. Thanks,
Enjoy the
Chuck.
rest of the day, man. We'll
You
talk soon,
too.
buddy.
You
Take
got
care.
it. Thank you. Take
Yes,
care.
sir.
Bye.
Bye.